the people that have disabilities that I'm talked to, they crave connection. They crave wanting to be out in the community and wanting to contribute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this brand new installment of the Nick Speaks podcast, the podcast dedicated to the disabled community where we speak up, speak out, and speak loud. I am your host, Nicolas Comstock. Happy New Year to all of you out there. I hope you're excited for 2025. I am truly excited, so I hope your new year is getting off to a great start and not too much drama yet, but hey, if you're in drama already this early in 2025, then maybe you just attract it. Who knows? I'm so glad you guys are with me today. Before I get into the meat of this episode, I want to give some housekeeping notes. And I want to say that if you want to come on and be a guest of mine on Nick Speaks, the podcast dedicated to the disabled community where we speak up, speak out, and speak loud. If you would like to be a guest, whether you're a person with a disability like myself and you want to come share your life experience, or you're someone that has worked in the disability for many years as a caregiver, as a case manager, as a social worker, and you want to come on and share your views of what you've experienced and all that kind of fun stuff, please email me at nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com. I would love to have you come on as a guest. I'm always looking for guests. There's plenty of spots open for 2025. I don't have many guests scheduled yet, so if you want to be a guest on Nick Speaks Official, on Nick Speaks, then email me at nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com and we will get you on. Also, use that same email if you would like me to be a guest on your podcast. You can email me with the subject line, "Be a guest on my podcast," or "Podcast Swap," or whatever you want to do. And I would love to be a guest on your podcast as well to help spread the word about my podcast and just to get my message out there around the issues that surround the disabled. So if you want to do either one of those two things, whether you want to be a guest on mine or have me be a guest on yours, please email me at nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com. Also, you can use the same email address if you would like me to speak for your event. You can email me and we'll set up a meeting and talk about my potential speaking engagement with you guys at whatever event you would like to have me at. Also, subscribe to me on YouTube at the Nick Speaks podcast. You can also type in Nicolas Comstock on YouTube, and you can also watch the video version of this podcast as well. Also, don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and I think wherever you get your podcast. So whatever you can do, give Nick Speaks Podcast a 5-star rating or a 4-star rating, however it works. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and participate in the show. I love hearing from you guys. And actually, today's show is based off of a viewer comment that I received that I was like, I could really turn this into a podcast. So we are actually going to be dealing with a viewer comment today. And so remember that you can always comment and send me emails and all that great stuff. So let's get into today's show. I got a comment recently from one of the listeners, and I don't have the comment right here in front of me, so I can't tell you who left it, and I won't be able to share the comment with you verbatim. But as you guys know, in recent episodes, I've talked a lot about my employment struggles and how I've been told that nobody will hire me because of my disabilities because I'm unemployable. And this commenter said to me, there are thousands of work from home jobs, especially since COVID. All you have to do is dig deep and buckle down, and basically telling me I can find a job if I want to from home. And, you know, I I appreciate your way of helping to this commenter, but here's the thing. I don't want to stay at home all the time. And I've been at home for the last several years, looking at four walls with a TV, phone, and computer, and I'm tired of it. I want to be out in my community. I want to be contributing to my community. And there's a lot of people in my situation or similar situations that want to do the same thing. And what's really frustrating to me as a disabled person is that I think society is too comfortable with the idea of having people with disabilities at home and not in their communities. They say, well, at least if they work from home, they're contributing to the community. Well, yeah, but you are continuing to allow isolation to happen. And because employers are not willing to um, think outside the box and say, how can we get these folks out of their house for maybe 4 to 6 hours, or maybe they want to do a full 12-hour shift. I don't know. But employers need to come together and say, how can we make this work? Because it's not fair to say to a certain population of people, yeah, we want you to work, but we're not willing to do what we have to do to make it accessible. So why don't you work from home? Um, I I can't speak for everyone that has a disability out there, but I've been at home way too much. I'm tired of being isolated. I'm tired of looking at a TV, phone, and computer every day. I want to be out in the community contributing just like those who don't have a disability. And you know what? I have every right to do so. And this country needs to step up its game and say, we need to make people with disabilities more a part of American society instead of shoving them off into a sheltered workshop somewhere or shoving them off into their room with a TV, phone, and computer and saying, well, you've got the basic necessities, you can do a job from home. Now, listen, a job from home may be perfect for someone with a disability. They may want to do a job from home. But the people from disability, the people that have disabilities that I've talked to, they crave connection. They crave wanting to be out in the community and wanting to contribute. If you want to work and you have a disability and working from home is your forte, great. I'm not criticizing that. But I feel like that is the first thing the able-bodied society goes to when someone with a disability express interest in working. Now, wait, honestly, that's not the first thing people go to when people with disabilities express their desire to work. The first thing that the able-bodied society goes to when someone with a disability like myself wants to work is, why don't you be a greeter? Why don't you be a cashier? Why don't you stock the shelves? Why don't you fold the clothes at Goodwill? Why don't you, and all those jobs are great. First of all, I don't see many greeters at many stores much anymore, but, you know, could we stop setting the bar so low with people with disabilities? I can do so much more than just say, "Hi, how are you? Welcome to welcome to our establishment today. Welcome to what we're doing." There's so much more I can do. It just takes somebody, maybe a few people, maybe one person that wants to say, "I'm going to give this young lady or this young man with a disability a chance." Because I don't know how many no's they've been told, but I'm not going to be one of those no's. And I'm going to do everything I can to try to make their dream of having a job and just becoming a taxpayer a reality. And I really encourage a lot of employers to do that. My friend recently, I had a friend, he went on a cruise, and part of the cruise was in Sydney, Australia. And in the country of Australia, they have, I don't know if it's recently become a law or if it's happened within the last couple of years, but they have it to where in every public establishment, there has to be adult changing tables. Not only does there have to be adult changing tables, but there's Hoyer lifts and, ways to transfer and all that stuff. America needs to really step up their game because we don't really have that here in America. We might have some states with adult changing tables, but I guarantee you it doesn't have a Hoyer lift with it. That's one of the biggest reasons I'm not out working a normal 9 to 5 job is because I have to have personal care 2 or 3 times a day. And right now, I don't know of a boss that is willing to install a changing table, willing to have a wear lift there on site to do so that I can do what I need to do as far as personal care goes. And I'm not going to stop at my desire for wanting to be out in the community and wanting to be a contributor to the community just because I have a disability. You say, "Nick, you really don't want a job." No, that's not true at all. My will is no different from somebody who looks at working at McDonald's and flipping burgers as not a real job. They would rather go do something else. Now, no offense to anybody who works at who works in the fast food industry. I love you guys. I just had some Taco Bell for dinner tonight. Um, for those of you who are like, "Tonight, I pre-taped this podcast, so I just had Taco Bell for dinner." A lot of people, especially when I was growing up, they frowned on working in the fast food industry. I don't know why, but uh, a lot of the people that I grew up around didn't really look at that. A lot of the adults that I grew up around didn't really look at that as uh, looked at it as a real job profession or a real career. Um, the people that I grew up around a lot looked down on those fast food workers and said things like, "What, you want to go flip burgers the rest of your life?" They looked at that as, "You're a loser if you do that." And so, and if you look at the fast food profession in that way, you really shouldn't, because it's a good, honest living. And so, but my desire is no different from wanting to um, not just be a greeter at a fast food restaurant, at any establishment. from wanting just to be a greeter at a Walmart from somebody who says, I don't want to flip burgers all my life. I don't want to flip burgers, period. I think it's stupid. There's a lot of people out there who say that. And nobody frowns on them for wanting to look at better employment, better pay, a better job that suits their needs. Nobody frowns on that. But the moment someone like me with a disability says, I don't want to work from home, I want to be out in the community, I don't want to be a greeter, then we're just told, oh, well, then you really don't want a job then, because if you really wanted it, you would do it. Well, no, like I said, I'm not going to go through this again. It's the same analogy for those who say, well, I don't want to flip burgers the rest of my life because I think they look down on it for whatever reason. Also, I will say that I would, I wouldn't have a problem working from home, but not all the time. I'm looking at starting my own business and expanding my public speaking career. Is one of the reasons why I have this podcast. And I want to do that. And I realize that because of my personal care situation, I cannot go into a 12-hour job and go 12 hours without being cared for. So I am looking at a work from home out in the community hybrid. And not a lot of states are willing to look at that, at least with the experience that I've had. Let's put it that way. So it's not that I am opposed to working from home. I'm not opposed to it. I just said I'll do a work from home, work out in the community hybrid, but I really want people in the community to stop shoving us in a room with a TV, phone, and computer and expecting us to be okay and saying, well, if you can make money in front of that TV, phone, and computer, you should still be happy because you're making extra money. No. If COVID has done anything for me, it has taught me that I want more connection, that I want more time with people, not less. Before COVID happened, I was really craving connection and craving those things, and I didn't really get it. And then COVID came along, and everybody was like, oh my goodness, 14 days to slow the spread. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I got on my Facebook, I got on my social media and said, welcome to the world of the disabled folks. Because we do this every day. We sit in front of a TV, phone, and computer and go absolutely nuts because too many able-bodied people are too busy for disabled people. And we go nuts wondering if we'll ever have a life while we watch all of the rest of our friends' lives pass by, and they have kids and they get married and they do all the things that we want to do. But we're not able to do those right away because we don't have the resources to. So I was laughing during COVID when everybody was freaking out about having to stay home for 2 weeks. Of course, it turned into a lot longer than 2 weeks. But, I would read people's posts on Facebook about how they couldn't stand being at home. At first, they thought it was great, but now it's been over a month and we're still stuck inside. And I was just like, finally, people understand where I come from. So now it's almost like when this commenter said work from home, and I'm not upset at the commenter, but it's almost like when this commenter said work from home, it's almost like they came across as Work from home. What's wrong with you? At least you'll still be making money. And no, I don't just want to work from home. I want to make a positive difference in the lives of the people that I'm around. And I can't do that if I'm sitting at home working on a computer, typing in data somewhere, which is what a lot of people have suggested to me too. Why don't you type in data? Well, that's not really all that easy either. I have hand trouble and vision trouble and all that type of stuff. So, yes, there are thousands of work from home jobs out there. I'm sure there are. And I'm sure maybe I could find a great one. But I'm tired of people just looking at only two options when it comes to people with disabilities working, and that is be a greeter somewhere in an establishment or work from home. Oh, you don't want to do any of those two things? Well, then just sit on the government system the rest of your life and be in poverty. Because, oh, by the way, that's what the government want those of us to do. Because I truly believe somebody said this to me not too long ago. People with disabilities are the forgotten stepchildren. And we are, because nobody, to my knowledge, has come and said, how can we make the lives of people with disabilities better? Nothing's been passed. And you talk about, well, the ADA's been passed. The ADA has barely scratched the surface. Am I thankful for the ADA? Yes, I'm thankful for the ADA. But they barely scratched the surface. And there are some things that need to be updated, like the $2,000 savings cap that you have for people who are on Social Security SSI. You know, uh, I don't know who came up with that number and who said that once you hit the $2,000 savings cap, you're obviously a millionaire, so we don't need to help you anymore. I just found out here a few days ago that they are cutting my food stamps. Again, this is the second time they've done it. They're cutting my food stamps from $70 down to $63. Before it was at $70, it was at $241. And they cut it from $241 down to $70 just because I don't pay utilities where I live. It's included in my rent. Well, now, because we have received the COLA adjustment, which is the cost of living adjustment, they have said, oh, you got a 3.2% raise, or maybe a little less. I think it's 2.3 this year. I'm not sure. You got a raise? Okay, great. Now we're going to take more food out of your mouth. So now I'm sitting here living on $63 a month in food stamps. Nobody in the political establishment, to my knowledge, within the last decade has come out and said, how can we improve the lives of people with disabilities? Because we still have the $2,000 savings cap. We still have the you can't get married to an able-bodied person, because if you do, they're considered an asset and you could lose your benefits. So people that are not disabled really need to, first of all, think before they speak and start thinking outside of the box when it comes to the lives of disabled folks. Because I'm tired of being shoved in the back and saying, well, you can do this. I'm tired of being shoved off to the side and saying, well, at least you're here. You may not be doing what you want to do, but at least you're here. No, I want to be front and center. And I deserve and other people with disabilities deserve to have high-paying jobs in the community. Are you saying, Nick, you want to be on, assistance and still have a high-paying job? No, I'm not. And believe you me, I'm working as hard as possible to get off the government assistance and make some serious money. I really am. But what I'm saying is, in order to give people with disabilities a fair shake, we have to stop looking at the two options: work from home and be a greeter somewhere. Because people with disabilities have so much more to offer than just sitting in a house somewhere waiting on a boss for them to tell them what to do, or sitting in a store in an establishment and saying, hey, welcome to Target. There's so much more that I can do, and I am refusing to settle for these two things. I'm refusing to. So, yeah, that's my feeling on, working from home and having, thousands of job opportunities from home. Yeah, I just, no. I want to be out in the community, and I will be out in the community. And, if you really think about it, I'm not getting paid for this podcast yet, but I'm working from home right now. I do this podcast in my apartment every week. And I enjoy it. I enjoy coming to you guys every week via Spotify, via Apple Podcasts, via YouTube. I enjoy this. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to get out in the community and make money too, and hug necks and inspire people. If I inspire you through this podcast, I am so happy. But I want to do more than just sit behind a desk and stare at a camera every week. I want to really sit down and get to know people and hear people's hearts and hear their struggles. I can't do all that I want to do sitting behind a desk and looking at a camera, or staring at a cell phone, responding to a text message, or responding to a phone call. So yeah, that's my feeling on working from home, and I appreciate the viewer comment. I am in no way upset with the viewer, listener comment. I just wanted to share my thoughts on it and say that we need to come up with better options to support the folks with disabilities in this country, instead of just telling them, oh, you want to work? Okay, work from home by entering data behind your computer, or work from Amazon. Oh, you want to work? Okay, go to Walmart. No. America supposedly is the best country in the world, and we should be able, and I believe, by the way, that it is the best country in the world. So if America is the best country on earth, then America should be able to look at its disabled population and say, how can we make this population a part of the best country on earth? So thanks for your comment, and I look forward to hearing from many more of you. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, as of this recording, I'm at 537 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time a new episode of the Nick Speaks podcast comes out. And also, like I said in the beginning, if you want me to come on your podcast, or you want to come on my podcast, or you would like me to be a speaker at your speaking engagement, please email me at nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com. I would love the opportunity to have a meeting with you and see how we could connect and collaborate and help change the world for the better. Until next week, guys, this is the Nick Speaks podcast, the podcast dedicated to the disabled community where we speak up, speak out, and speak loud. I will see you next week. Thanks.